Assalamu alaikum, dears. How are you? All of us want to leave a very good impression on the people, especially those who are somewhat important to us and who can be helpful in our future. That is something quite legitimate. But do we succeed in getting all that? Usually not. In some of the cases, yes. Why don't we succeed in leaving a good impression on most or almost all the people? The reason is we don't know it. We need to learn it. And knowing it, learning it, that is the topic of our discussion today. We are going to talk about all that. There are certain stages and a step by step guide for all that. It is so authentic that if at all we understand and practice it well, we will definitely succeed in leaving a very good impression on the people, the important people who could be helpful for us in the future. So let's begin. There are certain stages, certain steps. The first one is pre-meeting preparation. Prepare before the meeting. What we need to prepare. Only five things to remember or to jot down. The first one is research the person and their interest. Researching the person, researching their interest. That is the number one thing. The number two thing, that is dress appropriately for the occasion. Dressing appropriately for the occasion. The third is plan your introduction and elevation pitch. Planning your introduction and elevation pitch. I need to understand, you need to understand that how to introduce myself. So that is one thing. Plan your introduction and elevation pitch. Number four, practice confident body language. Not only we need to prepare well, how shall I introduce myself? Also, I need to practice the body language as well, the confident body language as well. Now, the fifth and the last is prepare thoughtful questions. Preparing the thoughtful questions. So, that is the stage number one, pre meeting preparation. Now, let's go to the second stage. It is initial greeting. How to talk to somebody initially, how to greet them, how to somehow receive them. So that is the second step. That is, there are five things only. First one is smile and make eye contact. Smiling and making the eye contact. And number two, firm handshake. Firm handshake should not be that firm that the other people feel uncomfortable, should not be that loose that the other the person should start thinking this person is not interested in me, so this person is not respectful, she is not happy to meet me. So let's have a firm handshake. Now the next is that the next is the use a friendly and approachable tone. A tone must be friendly on the one hand, approachable on the other hand. Friendly and approachable tone. Number four, address by title and the last name. Addressing by title, addressing by last name. The title is very important. Supposedly, somebody is a minister, somebody is a DPO, somebody is the deputy commissioner, somebody is the MPA, someone is the MNA. So, whatever somebody is, it is their title on the one hand, the lost name on the other hand. So address them in such a way. Now the fifth and the last is exchange business cards. If you are a professional person, if they are a professional person, exchange the business card. So that is the second stage, which was initial greeting. Now the third stage, the third step, it is conversation strategies. Conversation strategies. That is the step number 3. Again, there are 5 points here. Point number 1. Ask open-ended questions. Do not ask any question which will be responded by yes or no. Rather, ask open-ended questions. So that is the number 1 thing. Number 2, show genuine interest in their life, show genuine interest in their work as well. Showing the genuine interest in their life, showing the genuine interest in their work. Now, number 3, find common ground or shared experiences. Whatever is common between the two of you, whatever were the shared experiences, mean two of you went through the same sort of experience. It could be like you travel to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the sake of Umrah, or you underwent any sort of surgical operation. Whatever did happen, talk about these shared experiences and talk about the common ground. Let's say you are living in the federal capital, but you came from the far-flung area, from the you do have the rural background. So that is something common between the two of you. So that is find common ground and shared experiences. Number 4, comment on current events or industry trends. Commenting on the current events or the industry trend, if at all you belong to the same industry, or if at all the two of you belong to the industry, talk about the industry trend and talk about the current events. Now the fifth and the last is use positive uplifting language. The language must be positive, the language must be uplifting. It should not be discouraging, it should not be negative at all. So that was the third step. The third step was conversation starters. Now the fourth step, that is body language. Body language is very important. There are again 5 points. Point number 1, maintain eye contact for 2 seconds, for 3 seconds. After some of the time, again try to establish and maintain the eye contact. The second is stand up or sit up straight. Sit up straight, stand up straight. Don't slouch here and there. Rather, sit straight, stand straight, because that is an important sign of body language. The third is use open and approachable gestures. Using open and approachable gestures. Number 4, lean forward. This way, if at all the person is sitting here, as a mark of respect, lean forward as a mark of respect, as a mark of genuine interest in you, in the other person. Now, the fifth and the last is avoid crossing arms, avoid crossing arms, avoid crossing legs. So, that is considered like you are somewhat arrogant, not polite. So, avoid doing this thing. Now, this was about the body language. Now, the next is the fifth is it is verbal communication. Verbal communication, that is important. Now there are 5 points in the verbal communication. Number 1, speak clearly and speak confidently. Speaking clearly, speaking confidently. Number 2, listen actively and authentically. Speaking clearly and confidently. Number 2, listen actively and authentically. Attentively. Listen actively and listen attentively. Now the active mean ask something very brief during the conversation. Attentively, yes, pay full attention, focus and concentrate upon what they are talking about. The third is use positive and enthusiastic tone. Do not talk in the negative. Do not talk about in an unenthusiastic or a pessimistic tone. Rather, always speak about positive. Always speak about enthusiastic tone. The fourth is avoid filler words. Avoiding the filler words like the purpose is why these filler words are used, because the person think forward. So if at all you do have to think, so keep silent for a second, for 2 seconds, for 3 seconds, but avoid filler words. Now the fifth and the last is show interest in their thoughts and in their opinions. Showing interest in their thoughts, showing interest in their opinions. So that is the verbal communication, the step number 5. Now the step number 6 is digital first impression. Not only that we have to make the first impression physically, bodily, rather it is the digital first impression as well. There are 5 points. Professional social media profile. Our social media profile must be a professional one. The second is clear and concise email signature. Our email should be clear and concise. Number 3, well written and professional proofread messages. Well written and proofread messages. Our message must be well written on the one hand, must be proofread earlier, otherwise there will be certain errors. Write while carefully thinking, after carefully thought out, and then proofread as well. Now the fourth is appropriate profile picture. you know put an appropriate put an appropriate profile picture. Number fifth is consistent personal branding. Consistent personal branding is also important. Consistent personal branding, consistently brand. Now the next step is common mistakes to avoid. There are certain mistakes which are very common, which must be avoided. Again, these are 5. Please remember. Number 1, lack of preparation. This is really really bad. Lack of preparation is really bad. Number 2, it is poor time management. We need to manage well our time. Shouldn't be a poor time manager at all. Rather, we should be good at the time management. Poor time management should be avoided. Number 3, inattentive listening. Never be inattentive in the listening. Always be very attentive. Now, the fourth is negative or critical attitude. Negative or critical attitude. Neither our attitude should be negative nor it should be critical. Always have a positive. Always have a positive and non-critical attitude. Number 5, overly aggressive and pushy behavior. Our behavior must not be overly aggressive at all, must not be pushy at all, rather, because that is not good at all. That will push the people back. So these were the common mistakes to avoid. Now the next segment, the next step is benefits of good first impression. There are 5 major benefits of good first impression. Number 1, it establishes trust and credibility. Yes, it does establishes trust, and it does establishes credibility as well. Number 2, build rapport and connection. Yes, it does build rapport. It does build connection. Number 3, increases chances of future collaboration. Yes, it does increases the chances of future collaboration. Number 4, it enhances professional reputation. Yes, it enhances the professional reputation. Now the fifth is open doors to new opportunities. Yes, it does open the doors to the new opportunities as well. So these are the 5 major benefits of a good first impression. Now there are certain things to be done for the long term impression management. For the long term impression management, not just the first good impression, but the long term impression management. There are 5 things. Consistency in behavior and communication. Number 2, follow through on commitments. Number 3, continuous learning and improvement. Number 4, empathy and understanding. Number 5, genuine interest in others' success. So these are the long-term impression management. Now remember, be authentic and be genuine. Remember, show interest and empathy. Remember, prepare and plan ahead. Remember, communicate clearly and communicate confidently. Remember, follow up and follow through. So these are the five important tips about how what to remember, what not to forget at all. Leave lasting positive impression by combining these strategies. Indeed, that is something very useful, very beneficial. Talk about how to leave a first good impression, so that a relationship could be established. A relationship should be carried it on for a longer period of time. That's all for me today. Thank you.